nigga, I do this. I thought you knew this. Pop that old shit out. By my dick.
What's up, everybody? This is Marquise Dupree with Doc Sports. How is everybody doing? This is week 4 of college football, and trust me, it has been very exciting so far. Let's start off with South Alabama. South Alabama last week against Northwestern, 87 points. Okay, Northwestern State, I understand, small school, fairly new program, or just trying to get things going. South Alabama is doing what they need to do, just like Miami. We can call it a small school, and when you put in 87 points, most points scored in school history or in any football game. Oh my God. That's the great things that you like to hear about small schools is working their way up. And keep in mind, South Alabama lost their coach. Major Applewhite, as I said before, steps right in. Had to get some things figured out. Had 2 losses, one against North Texas, the other against Ohio. Great comeback. Do what you need to do. And then this week, Appalachian State, 48 points. South Alabama, the local team. Like I said, guys, we got to get out. We have to support these local teams. South Alabama is our local team. I'm decked out in my South gear. Red, white, blue. What do you think? Get out, support the Jags. They don't give me any type of sponsorship, and I'm not asking for anything. I'm just trying to get people out to go see their local teams and support football. Like we support high school football games, which I have to get involved with. That's probably one of the things that I'm going to do going forward. Going live in some of these high school football games. Hey, we have to do it. But keep in mind, Appalachian State has been known to upset huge schools. Clemson, your Miami. They gave Florida State scare. Of course, everybody's scared in Florida State right now. One game at a time. Of course, I'm still a Florida State fan. It's all about South Alabama now. I missed last week because I was on vacation. I'm back here now. Come to good news. Come home to Mobile, Alabama, and you just hear all this good news that this college is doing and what they're not giving up. Their accomplishments. You have to look at the small accomplishments to appreciate the big accomplishments when they happen. What happened to South Alabama upset LSU next week? It can happen. LSU doesn't have a lot of momentum right now. South Alabama has all of the momentum. I'm so excited. It's one of them things that it can be the perfect storm because LSU is like, hey, we need this semi-bye week to find out our practices and what we're doing. And LSU, like, it's South Alabama. They're nobody. And as I told you before, South Alabama, you go look at their track records, they can upset some schools. They have came very close. And this could be one of those moments where everybody is laxed. South Alabama's coming in, Baton Rouge. They can be the nice fans. They don't have to be the mean, angry fans like they do at Death Valley at night. That's why I will probably never go to a LSU game at night, at least not wearing my South Alabama stuff, my Florida State stuff, my Troy stuff, my UAB stuff. Even though my son did go to the UAB and LSU game. He said LSU fans was very nice. And it was at night. It wasn't the packed stadium. It wasn't a big game. So they can be nice. But if it's FSU, Alabama, any team that's on their level competitor, I'm not going to Death Valley at night. But South Alabama might can sneak in there all quiet. They are the little Jags going against the big bad Tigers. And bam! South Alabama upset them probably about a touchdown, 3 points. You never know. That's why we watch the games. That's why we play the games. All right, guys, let's get into our top 25. We have interesting week coming up. It's not the best week of college football, but it's still a lot of interest in the top 25. So let's just kind of run through them real quick. First game is Texas. Texas played UL Monroe. That's Texas. Biggest thing about Texas, Quentin Ewing is out. We have the Manning great, Archie Manning, stepping in. We know he's fast. He's a Manning. He made great decisions, great check down. He can be the all-American quarterback that we haven't seen in years. He can be, how can I say, he might can be the vanilla Michael Vick. We don't know. He's looking good. He can be that dude. He can be the next coming of Elway, Montana. He can be that dude. He can be the Patrick Mahomes of the future. So we're gonna watch that game, see how he deliver. Texas should win easy. I don't think UNLM has anything right now. Just go in and play good, solid football, and I think they'll be okay. Georgia and Alabama next week. They got a bye week, but everybody knows Georgia's number 2. Number 3, Ohio State plays Marshall. As I said, Alabama is number 4, and they play Georgia next week. Ole Miss is interesting. Ole Miss is number 5. Florida's looking for a coach. Dan Mullen recommend hiring Lane Kiffin. Could Ole Miss be worried about their coach and Georgia Southern kind of make something bad happens? We don't know. I do know Kiffin won't leave in the middle of the season again like he did Tennessee. Well, wasn't in the middle of the season, but he left Tennessee when he had it rolling. So we know he'll leave, but we don't know how he will leave. We have to watch that. Tennessee is number 6, plays Oklahoma. That's going to be a very interesting game. 7:30 on a Saturday night. You know, Tennessee got to go into Oklahoma. Florida State has never beaten Oklahoma. I don't know what Tennessee record against Oklahoma. I can look that up. Put it in the comments if you know it. Thank you. That could be a very interesting game. Missouri, number 7, versus Vanderbilt. SEC matchup. Missouri going to run over Vanderbilt. That's my prediction. Keep in mind, this is Doc Sports. This is my show, Marquise Dupree. Please like and subscribe. Comment. If you want me to talk about your team, drop it in the comments. This is how we do. Please participate. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being loyal subscribers. Continue, pass the word. Let's just keep going together. Keep in mind, this is the fan show. So, hey, this is also your show. Even though it's my show, my opinions. You can also add your opinions, get involved. I love when people get involved. Love interacting. So, just to let you know. All right. Please like and subscribe again. Miami, number 8, South Florida. South Florida played Alabama. Kind of tough. 2 Florida schools. I would love for South Florida to make it interesting. Miami has done everything they needed to do against the small schools. I see Miami as a complete football team. Cam Ward is going crazy right now. I don't see Miami dropping to South Florida. I think it can be a great game. I'm thinking Miami's going to probably win. High 30s, maybe 40s. South Florida, maybe low 20s, 19. I can't give you a score. Maybe I could drop that down later. I got to think about that. But I do have Miami winning. Number 9, Oregon and UCLA at UCLA. I got Oregon winning. Number 10, Penn State, Kent State, Penn State. USC and Michigan. Woo! The defending champs, ranked number 18. That can be, woo! I'll take Michigan. Defending national champ. Michigan needs something solid. USC really hasn't impressed me. Yeah, let's go with Michigan. Utah, Oklahoma State. Number 12, Utah plays against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is 14. I'll take Utah. Kansas State and BYU, 13. Kansas State go into BYU. BYU has been known to make some static. Hey, what they call that, round sprinter? You know, BYU can get wild too now. It can get real crazy. I'll take BYU. As I said, Oklahoma State and Utah, we are, yeah. Utah, that's one of those run sprinter. They can, I don't know if they get crunk, but it's a Mormon school. They can get down. But I still feel Oklahoma State take Utah. LSU, Oklahoma, as I mentioned, Oklahoma is number 15. They play Tennessee. That's a high matchup game. As I told you, I think Tennessee should win that game. Um, as I go through these, I kind of change my mind real quick too. So, like I say, I'm just going off. It's only week 4, guys. We still trying to figure things out. If you unless you're a team like Florida State and don't have a win yet, it's beginning to show who your team is. 5th and 6th game, we're gonna know who they are, and we can really start talking, playoffs about that time, who we think is going to be there, and even then, that could change. Could change. Uh, like I said, LSU and UCLA. Yeah, that could be interesting. Keep in mind, I said LSU played South Alabama in the previous week. Um, Man, UCLA probably can, ding them up real good, and South Alabama probably could come back. That game getting more interesting now. I was thinking LSU had a bye or something like that, a break, but yeah, they play UCLA, and UCLA 3:30 Saturday 21st, and then they play South Alabama the following week. They think it's a lax game. They play South Alabama on the 28th. That's a lax game. Is they bye that game? Woo! Watch that game. I'm telling you, if South Alabama stays on this run, watch that LSU and South Alabama game. And I'm telling you, that's a dangerous, dangerous game. It's brewing. It's becoming the perfect storm. Watch that game. Don't know what's going to happen. I favor LSU, but I won't be surprised if South Alabama, my local team, go Jags, if they do something special that night. We just watch it. All right, I said Michigan 18. I already gave you my prediction on Michigan and USC. Louisville 19. Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech beat Florida State. Barely, but they did it. I want Louisville to beat them. I don't know if they can do it. Louisville is 2-0. I say Georgia Tech. I go with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech have played Florida State. Florida State don't look good, don't look like a team, but Georgia Tech do play good, have a good solid defense, have some great running backs. I just feel like Georgia Tech, Louisville is ranked. That can be, yeah. Georgia Tech only loss is to Syracuse. They beat Florida State, Georgia State, lost to Syracuse, beat what's that? VMI. Must be Virginia. I'm trying to get the abbreviation, but small school. They won convincingly. So yeah, that can be. Yeah, I say Georgia Tech. I'll take the Jackets. They stung our tails pretty good, so might well ride them. We'll put no money on the game. Don't and that's another thing. If you're betting and you looking for somebody to give you some great solid advice on betting, don't come to me. Don't lose your money on me. Because one thing I know about football has to be played. We can go into stats and we can look at coaches' predictions and what happened in the past. But I'm one of those solid believers that college football or any football game has to be played, not decided on paper. I'm just that old-fashioned guy. I'm sorry. All right, Iowa State is 20. Play Arkansas State. I take Iowa State. Clemson is 21. Play NC State, which I'm glad we don't play NC State this year. But I take Clemson. I favor Clemson, and I think Clemson is a good team. Nebraska, 22. Nebraska. You guys remember when Nebraska was 0-8 under Scott Frost? And everybody say, "Oh, Nebraska was dead when they got Matt Rule." Nebraska is 3-0 right now, guys. Ranked 22. Went through all that hardship, all of that bad stuff. You know, losing and don't looking like a team. Guys wanting to quit on them. And look at them now. Big ups to them. 23, North Illinois and Buffalo. I take Northern Illinois. Like I said, Illinois ranked number 24. They played Nebraska. I got Nebraska. Texas A&M. They love them SEC school, though. I tell you. 25. Texas A&M. You know, they beat up on poor little Florida. They little brothers. They play Bowling Green. And I keep telling y'all, the way that these games are pushed and marketed and played in times, ESPN has an agenda when it comes to the Big Ten, the SEC, and the ACC, and probably the Big 12. They have an agenda on who they push and how they push, how they make it look. Just saying, if you don't believe they have an agenda, compare your team when they're doing good and when they're bad. And if your team stays in a certain ranking area, if they're good or bad, that's the agenda. I'm telling you, it is bias. Check it out. It's bias. All right, so let's just talk a little bit about Florida State, just because I'm just kind of want to get it out there. People are trying to compare Mike Norvell and Napier, Florida coach. If Mike Norvell don't win a game, he's fired. I can see how you want that to happen, but they got $65 million buyout that say that won't happen. Now, I do think if Mike Norvell do not show the ability to change and rotate his players to get the best quality matchup on the field, no matter if they're freshmen, junior, high pay NIL or not, if you're not able to sit a quarterback that's not playing good, hence DJ, you, and see what our freshman has, you know, what think about these guys. Okay, what if he put Brock in the game? Or Luke? Or hell, whoever. And they throw 3 interceptions, but score 2 touchdowns. And DJ don't complete a pass, don't gain yards, and we stagnant. What you would take? Even if we lose the game, would you take 3 interceptions and 2 touchdowns? Or our offense don't score anything, and Fitz come out there and kick 9 points? I'm just saying, we got to figure it out. Mike Norvell get paid a lot of darn money to figure this out. And if I'm a coach getting paid that kind of money, and I'm paying the guy almost as much as I pay an assistant coach, and he can't run for first downs, he can't read the defense, he don't know how to go through his progressions, he don't know how to do audibles. Hell, at least if you can't throw, you can run. This dude can't run. Look at his size. And that's what. But they just need. You know, my job need to be is just the. I want to be the assistant coach that just say this player's bench. I say he ain't no good. He bench, and that's just my job. Y'all can pay me $200,000. Just tell the damn player to sit down. And for that game, Mike Norvell can't use that player because my job was to tell him to sit down. I would tell DJ to sit down coming out that first quarter in the Georgia Tech game. Mike Norvell would have fired me, but guess what? Y'all wouldn't have had to worry about DJ doing that game. And I don't know. And now what's crazy is, hey, think about this, guys. This is always crazy. And I say I wasn't gonna go a lot to Florida State, and it seemed like every time a player plays against us, they look great, don't they? I mean, you think about Golson, a couple more other players I can't think of on top of my head, but the schools, the players, they play against us like a fear. Even our players that transferred and plays against us look like superstars. But for some reason, when they play for us, we can't get the same results. And I don't understand that. I don't get it. But that's just some of the stuff that I see as a fan, that just bugs the heck out of me. And then the stars that we had, you think about your Dorian James, you think Runner Darby. Yeah, I say Runner Darby. Jalen Ramsey, of course, Jameis Winston, Dalvin Cook, so on and on. Those were special guys, man, that no matter who they play for, you would have got the same result. But I'm talking about the guys, man, that, just them tier guys that, like, look at Lucas. Big Deontay Lucas. Big size, great lineman, but he just kept giving us negativity. And then he goes to a school like South Alabama, man, and he just looks great. Does everything right. And you think about, man, he should come back to the program. But I'm glad he didn't, because I'm thinking if he would have came back to Florida State, he would have resorted back to the same thing he was doing before he left. Just saying, guys. I don't know. It's just some of the stuff that I kind of I think about that kind of bothers me a little bit, when it comes to Florida State or any of the schools that I root for. But it's mostly Florida State, man. It's like I just see stuff that just doesn't look right at times, especially when it comes to players. And I'm gonna tell you, players, this right here: if you're on Florida State team and you feel like that you're comfortable and that you're okay, you're a part of the problem. Because one thing about a Florida State player, they want more, or they should want more, and everybody against them in the college football world is against them. If you don't realize that, don't come. They don't like you when you go to Florida State. I'm not saying we're the most hated team in America. All I'm just saying is, when you come to Florida State, you better have a lot of confidence, a lot of chip on your shoulder, but you better do everything right. If you think you're just going to be a comfortable and average football player there, then you might be in trouble. That program is just different. There's only one or two programs that I feel like that. I think Alabama get a lot of hate, but they have figured out how to use that to gain success. They're a program. I think USC is a program who's hated but haven't had a lot of success. Notre Dame, they have figured it out. Everybody figured it out here lately, but Florida State with the consistency, But there are, especially when you start winning a lot. You wait, Georgia. If Georgia win about 2 more championships, people are gonna hate their guts. Miami, people hate Miami because Miami won a lot back in the 80s. They haven't done anything recently, but that's why people hate Miami. And their fans still think that they're in the 80s sometimes. But I do think they're going to have a good year. You go back to my week 1 podcast or week 0 podcast. I told you I thought Miami deserved a bit of success. And I wanted them to have some success. And I'm glad that they're getting success. But you have to be humble. Even though give it back to everybody, Miami fans, give it back to Florida State fans. Give it to Florida fans. Hell, give it to Alabama fans. Give it back, but also realize there is a line how can I say it? You have to be humble at some point. You're gonna have to calm down. You're gonna have to say we are really back. We're contending for a national championship. Let's just ride this out. and let's see what happens. Because Miami, like I told you, you guys have also been known to drop some important games when you get it things going. And like I said, I hope that this is not that year. So we'll see. We have a lot of football left. I hope Florida State get a win. But Cal coming in there, man, I doubt it. But we'll see. That's why we play the game, right? Anything possible right now. All right, I'm Marquise Dupree. This is Doc Sports. Please like and subscribe. Pass the word. Please pass the word. Hopefully by this time next year, I have probably about a couple thousand subscribers. You know, I'm not trying to do much of the social media stuff. I just want people to realize this is a great show. Tune in, look for it. I don't do a lot of clickbait because I don't want to mislead people to one thing. I want you to open this up. I want you to watch it. I want you to hear what I'm saying. I want you to give me feedback and say, hey, man, I really like that show. That's what I want. I don't want to do any clickbait. Oh, it's tempting when I see clickbait, getting 10,000 views and in the matter of an hour. It's very tempting, but I want to go the honest route. So please like and subscribe. This is Doc Sports. We're growing, getting better, getting all our new fancy stuff. Hopefully we got some, maybe some gear for the faithful, maybe a raffle or something. Just keep it spicy up. But please come in. Thank y'all. Peace. Doc Sports. We out.